Welcome to the Weather Guru channel, Weather Guru Academy channel and associates and affiliates. This is going to give you an update on the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season, which began June 1st, as you know, Thursday, 2023. And looking at the predictions for the National Hurricane Center, NOAA predicts a, quote, near normal 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. Now, as you know, the El Nino sets the stage. The El Nino was basically just the warming of the Pacific Ocean, currents extending out from the Galapagos Islands, Chile, and all of that, all the way back toward the Ring of Fire in Japan and all of that. Those abnormally warm sea surface temperatures over in the Pacific affects the Atlantic basin, as well as the jet stream pattern. We have a blocking pattern that's going to dip in the middle of the country, a mega blocking pattern, and that's creating a situation now where we're going to have less hurricanes to make landfall on the East Coast or the Gulf Coast of the United States. At least that's what's projected right now. So NOAA predicted a 40% chance of a near normal season, a 30% chance of above normal season, and a 30% chance of a below normal season. 12 to 17 named storms, 5 to 9 hurricanes, of which major hurricanes, those with winds exceeding 111 miles an hour, 1 to 4 major hurricanes. So we're split on this. It's pretty interesting that this is going to be a pretty interesting forecast year this year, because in the past when we had El Nino, we've had below normal seasons in the last 10 years, okay? Climatologically speaking, when El Nino occurs in the Pacific, we have a below normal Atlantic season, but we have an above normal Pacific is it Eastern Pacific or Western Pacific? I think it's Eastern Pacific. We have an above normal Eastern Pacific season off the coast of Mexico. You get a lot of storms that don't make landfall over there, but they go through the list of names. So that's typically what happens, obviously, because you have the warm sea surface temperatures and less wind shear over there. But in the Atlantic basin, we're going to have more wind shear over there. Here's some of the names here. We're going to have more wind shear on the Atlantic basin, and that's not counting things such as the Saharan dust factor that we know comes over to Africa sometimes and blows over to the Cape Verde season. But it's interesting. What's going to be two factors that's going to be interesting to see is how many storms develop off the Cape Verde season later on in the intertropical convergence zone. How active is that? The intertropical convergence zone is going to be very active. That band, that belt that wraps around the equator is going to be very active after June and July, as you know, okay? But what's going to be interesting to see is will a lot of storms form and curve out the sea around the Bermuda High, as typical we've seen during these patterns. Or will we have a season that's going to be very active with storms that make landfall in the Caribbean basin, a lot of times in the Caribbean Sea and the islands there, and impact more so Central America and down south there. So that could be very interesting to see. Just some things to keep in mind. We've already had Arlene, by the way. Arlene was a tropical depression, as you know. It's no longer issued any more advisories from the National Hurricane Center here. Arlene moved through, and now it's moving between the Florida Straits right now, between Cuba, Havana, Cuba, and Key West, and it's just causing showers and things of that nature. But it's no longer a tropical storm. It's downgraded to a tropical depression, Arlene. So we've already had Arlene. It was a very disorganized storm, well away from Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. Top winds only got to 40 miles an hour, and now it's used to be that. Now what's left of Arlene is going to make impact in western Cuba, somewhere from between Pinar Rio and Havana, Cuba, as a remnant low pressure system. So it'll bring probably beneficial rain to western Cuba as they need that to start off their season. Tanks coming in. As you can see on the satellite view here, very disorganized. Showers were displaced to the north and northeast of the system, leaving an exposed center low. Heavy southwest wind shear affected this storm, and it never got its act together. And there was some debate earlier whether or not it was a subtropical system. That was when a couple of days ago, excuse me. But now we know this is a tropical storm, and it's dissipated now. So the next name would be Brett. That's what we're looking for, Brett, and then Cindy after that. So looking at the national, let's bring it back closer to home here. The lower contiguous 48 United States don't have much going on. There's some few showers in the Central Plains here, especially from Wichita, Topeka, Kansas, up through Omaha, Nebraska, and a few showers. Otherwise, it's a pretty clear day. We have some hazards here, red flag warnings for the Michigan, the lower Michigan, extending from anywhere from Cadillac, Michigan, through Sheboygan. Through Grand Rapids and through over to Kalamazoo in that I-94 corridor. So you want to be very careful if you're doing any burning or anything. It's probably be a burn ban as there's a red flag warning. Also, we have some flash flood warnings down, of course, stretching from West Palm Beach, Jupiter, Hobbs Sound, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and on through the Everglades around Lake Okeechobee. This is due to some of the showers I told you that was displaced to the northeast and east, left over from Arlene, that tropical moisture there. So that can create bringing some heavy downpours, maybe rain inch or inch and a half an hour. That can create this low-lying area, as you know, and so that accompanied with the king tide that normally happens in South Florida down there, can create some localized flooding on some of the streets. Also, some brief flooding here in the Mississippi Delta, so south of Memphis here, heading down toward Greenwood, Mississippi, and over toward Tupelo. There's a little bit of chances of flooding there too as well. Those showers extending across the Wachita and Valley there and Little Rock, and then through Kansas, those showers continue. Elsewhere, things look pretty clear for the most part. Pretty quiet on the radar here, the national radar here. I can show you some showers here extending east of Oklahoma City. So we come along I-44 from Tulsa to Oklahoma City, Broken Arrow. There's some showers extending down there. And also in the Red Hills, I'm at the Texas Hills country from Austin through west of Dallas-Fort Worth and Abilene, Midland area. There's some showers coming through Killeen. So we're coming up to I-35 and just west of there in Hill Country from Killeen, Texas through Abilene. There's some showers briefly there. And also in the Front Range, some showers continue to impact Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Boulder, Fort Collins. Those showers will continue to affect the I-25 corridor, even up through Cheyenne, Wyoming. So be careful there. But nothing garden variety, nothing severe at this moment. And elsewhere, we have some showers in Maine as well, from Augusta, I-95 corridor through Augusta, Portland there, through Lewiston. Continuing showers continue as that thing exits off the coast there. And then elsewhere, we have some showers in the just brief little spotty popcorn showers, northern Nevada, south of Boise, and north of Salt Lake City. And so those are the showers. If we look down here, we have some more, look like some intense showers here, Bahamas, approaching Bahamas here, the Big Andros Island, maybe some water spouts out there. So marine warnings may be issued for the Bahamas, Freeport down through Andros Island. Nassau, you're in the clear right now, but these showers are moving towards your location there. I'll put this into motion here. And you can see these showers are moving to the northeast pretty fast here at a pretty fast clip here. Key West, you're in the clear, but if you're in the Keys, there is some showers from Alameralda through Marathon and extending through Big Pine Key and Key Largo. There's some showers up through Homestead, and these showers are moving off the coast, so it won't be a total washout, but it will be some rain in effect in those areas. So that's the national picture here. All in all, a pretty stellar Sunday here for June 4th, 2023 for the lower 48 United States here. It definitely looks very good for travel and for any outdoor plans that you may have on the East Coast and on the West Coast, and somewhat in between in the upper Midwest as well. But in between, just watch out for those showers, like I said, once again in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Texas, and the Red River Valley, and down into, if you're in the Front Range, from Denver, Fort Collins, Boulder, down through Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. In the Southwest looks great. Phoenix and New Mexico, Albuquerque looks great. Utah looks great. And then all of the states in between, they look great as well. From St. Louis to Chicago down through Atlanta. It will be a little bit cooler, though, I would say. It will be a little bit cooler as the backdoor cold front slips in the northeast, bringing temperatures back in the 70s from New York City to I-95 corridor, Boston, Philly, up through State College, down up through Buffalo. They bring highs back down into the lower 70s starting tomorrow. So that's good news for them. Thank you for joining me on this Weather Guru report for Sunday. I look forward to seeing you later on this week for other reports as needed. Thank you.